Leviticus, chapters 10 through 12. And the two sons of Aaron, Nadab and Abiud, took each his censer, and put fire therein, and threw incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which the Lord did not command them. And fire came forth from the Lord, and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. And Moses said to Aaron, This is the thing which the Lord spoke, saying, I will be sanctified among them that draw nigh to me, and I will be glorified in the whole congregation. And Aaron was pricked in his heart. And Moses called Mizdai and Elisaphan, sons of Oziel, sons of the brother of Aaron's father, and said to them, Draw near, and take your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp. And they came near, and took them in their coats out of the camp, as Moses said. And Moses said to Aaron, and Eleazar, and Ithamar his sons that were left, Ye shall not make bare your heads, and shall not tear your garments, that ye die not, and so there should be wrath on all the congregation. But your brethren, even all those of Israel, shall lament for the burning with which they were burnt by the Lord. And ye shall not go forth from the door of the tabernacle of witness, that ye die not, for the Lord's anointing oil is upon you. They did according to the word of Moses. And the Lord spoke to Aaron, saying, Ye shall not drink wine nor strong drink, thou and thy sons with thee, whensoever ye enter into the tabernacle of witness, or when ye approach the altar, so shall ye not die. It is a perpetual statute for your generations, to distinguish between sacred and profane, and between clean and unclean, and teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord spoke to them by Moses. And Moses said to Aaron and to Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron who survived, Take the sacrifice that is left on the burnt offerings of the Lord, and ye shall eat unleavened bread by the altar. It is most holy. And ye shall eat it in the holy place, for this is a statute for thee, and a statute for thy sons, of the burnt offerings of the Lord. For so it has been commanded to me. And ye shall eat the breast of separation, and the shoulder of the choice offering in the holy place, thou and thy sons, and thy house with thee. For it has been given as an ordinance for thee, and an ordinance for thy sons, of the sacrifices of peace offering of the children of Israel. They shall bring the shoulder of the choice offering, and the breast of the separation upon the burnt offerings of the fat, to separate for a separation before the Lord. And it shall be a perpetual ordinance for thee, and thy sons, and thy daughters with thee, as the Lord commanded Moses. And Moses diligently sought the goat of the sin offering, but it had been consumed by fire. And Moses was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron that were left, saying, Why did ye not eat the sin offering in the holy place? For because it is most holy, he has given this to you to eat, that ye might take away the sin of the congregation, and make atonement for them before the Lord. For the blood of it was not brought into the holy place. Ye shall eat it within, before the Lord, as the Lord commanded me. And Aaron spoke to Moses, saying, If they have brought nigh today their sin offerings, and their whole burnt offerings before the Lord, and these events have happened to me, and yet I should eat today of the sin offerings, would it be pleasing to the Lord? And Moses heard it, and it pleased him. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, Speak ye to the sons of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat of all the beasts that are upon the earth. Every beast parting the hoof and making divisions of 2 claws, and chewing the cud among beasts, these ye shall eat. But of these ye shall not eat, of those that chew the cud, and of those that are part of hoofs and divide claws. The camel, because it chews the cud, but does not divide the hoof, this is unclean to you. And the rabbit, because it chews the cud, but does not deviate the hoof, this is unclean to you. And the hare, because it does not chew the cud, and does not divide the hoof, this is unclean to you. And the swine, because this animal divides the hoof, and makes claws of the hoof, and does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, and shall not touch their carcasses, these are unclean to you. And these are what ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All things that have fins and scales in the waters, and in the seas, and in the brooks, these ye shall eat. And all things which have not fins or scales in the water, or in the seas, and in the brooks, of all the waters produce, of every soul living in the water, are an abomination, and they shall be abominations to you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, and ye shall abhor their carcasses. And all these things that have not fins or scales, of those that are in the waters, these are an abomination to you. And these are the things which ye shall abhor of the birds, and they shall not be eaten, they are an abomination. The eagle, and the ossifrage, and the sea eagle, and the vulture, and the kite, and the like to it, and the sparrow, and the owl, and the seamew, and the like to it, and every raven, and the birds like it, and the hawk, and its like, and the night raven, and the cormorant, and the stork, and the red bill, and pelican, and swan, and the heron, and the lapwing, and the like to it, and the hoopoe, and the bat, and all winged creatures that creep, which go upon 4 feet, are abominations to you. But these ye shall eat of the creeping winged animals, which go upon 4 feet, which have legs above their feet, to leap on the earth. And these of them ye shall eat, the caterpillar and his like, and the Atticus and his like, and the cantharus and his like, and the locust and his like. Every creeping thing from among the birds which has 4 feet is an abomination to you, and by these ye shall be defiled. Every one that touches their carcasses shall be unclean until evening. And every one that takes of their dead bodies shall wash his garments, and shall be unclean till the evening. And whichever among the beasts divides the hoof and makes claws, and does not chew the cud, shall be unclean to you. Every one that touches their dead bodies shall be unclean till evening. And every one among all the wild beasts that moves upon his 4 feet, and which goes on all 4, is unclean to you. Every one that touches their dead bodies shall be unclean till evening. And he that takes their dead bodies shall wash his garments, and shall be unclean till evening. These are unclean to you. And these are unclean to you of reptiles upon the earth: the weasel, and the mouse, and the lizard, the ferret, and the chameleon, and the evet, and the newt, and the mole. These are unclean to you of all the reptiles which are on the earth. Everyone who touches their carcasses shall be unclean till evening. And on whatsoever one of their dead bodies shall fall, it shall be unclean. Whatever wooden vessel, or garment, or skin, or sack it may be, every vessel in which work shall be done shall be dipped in water, and shall be unclean till evening. And then it shall be clean. And every earthen vessel into which one of these things shall fall, whatsoever is inside it, shall be unclean, and it shall be broken. And all food that is eaten, on which water shall come from such a vessel, shall be unclean. And every beverage which is drunk in any such vessel shall be unclean. And everything on which there shall fall of their dead bodies shall be unclean. Ovens and stands for jars shall be broken down. These are unclean, and they shall be unclean to you. Only if the water be of fountains of water, or a pool, or a confluence of water, shall it be clean. But he that touches their carcasses shall be unclean. And if one of their carcasses should fall upon any sowing seed which shall be sown, it shall be clean. But if water be poured on any seed, and one of their dead bodies fall upon it, it is unclean to you. And if one of the cattle die, which it is lawful for you to eat, he that touches their carcasses shall be unclean till evening. And he that eats of their carcasses shall wash his garment, and be unclean till evening. And he that carries any of their carcasses shall wash his garments, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean till evening. And every reptile that creeps on the earth, this shall be an abomination to you. It shall not be eaten. And every animal that creeps on its belly, and every one that goes on 4 feet continually, which abounds with feet among all the reptiles creeping upon the earth, ye shall not eat it, for it is an abomination to you. And ye shall not defile your souls with any of the reptiles that creep upon the earth, and ye shall not be polluted with them, and ye shall not be unclean by them. For I am the Lord your God, and ye shall be sanctified, and ye shall be holy, because I, the Lord your God, am holy. And ye shall not defile your souls with any of the reptiles creeping upon the earth. For I am the Lord, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt, to be your God, and ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord, am holy. This is the law concerning beasts and birds, and every living creature moving in the water, and every living creature creeping upon the earth, to distinguish between the unclean and the clean, and between those that bring forth alive, such as should be eaten, and those that bring forth alive, such as should not be eaten. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and thou shalt say to them, Whatsoever woman shall have conceived and born a male child shall be unclean 7 days. She shall be unclean according to the days of separation for her monthly courses. And on the 8th day she shall circumcise the flesh of his foreskin. And for 33 days she shall continue in her unclean blood. She shall touch nothing holy, and shall not enter the sanctuary until the days of her purification are fulfilled. But if she should have borne a female child, then she shall be unclean twice 7 days, according to the time of her monthly courses. And for 66 days shall she remain in her unclean blood. And when the days of her purification shall have been fulfilled for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of a year old without blemish for a whole burnt offering, and a young pigeon or turtle dove for a sin offering, to the door of the tabernacle of witness to the priest. And he shall present it before the Lord, and the priest shall make atonement for her, and shall purge her from the fountain of her blood. This is the law of her who bears a male or a female. And if she cannot afford a lamb, then shall she take 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one for a whole burnt offering, and one for a sin offering, and the priest shall make atonement for her, and she shall be purified. Psalm 34, 35 in Hebrew. verses 1 through 16. A Psalm of David. Judge thou, O Lord, them that injure me. Fight against them that fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and arise for my help. Bring forth a sword, and stop the way against them that persecute me. Say to my soul, I am thy salvation. Let them that seek my soul be ashamed and confounded. Let them that devise evil against me be turned back and put to shame. Let them be as dust before the wind, and an angel of the Lord afflicting them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and an angel of the Lord persecuting them. For without cause they have hid from me the destructive snare. Without a cause they have reproached my soul. Let a snare which they know not come upon them, and the gin which they hid take them, and let them fall into the very same snare. But my soul shall exult in the Lord, it shall delight in his salvation. All my bones shall say, O Lord, who is like to thee, delivering the poor out of the hand of them that are stronger than he, yea, the poor and the needy one from them that spoil him. Unjust witnesses arose, and asked me of things I knew not. They rewarded me evil for good, and bereavement to my soul. But I, when they troubled me, put on sackcloth, and humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer shall return to my own bosom. I behaved agreeably towards them, as if it had been our neighbor or brother. I held myself as one mourning, and sad of countenance. Yet they rejoiced against me, and plagues were plentifully brought against me, and I knew it not. They were scattered, but repented not. They tempted me, they sneered at me most contemptuously. They gnashed their teeth upon me. Proverbs chapter 7, verses 1 through 5. My son, keep my words, and hide with thee my commandments. My son, honor the Lord, and thou shalt be strong, and fear none but him. Keep my commandments, and thou shalt live, and keep my words as the pupils of thine eyes. And bind them on thy fingers, and write them on the table of thine heart. Say that wisdom is thy sister, and gain prudence as an acquaintance for thyself, that she may keep thee from the strange and wicked woman, if she should assail thee with flattering words. The Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 23, verses 1 through 22. Then spake Jesus to the multitude, and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do ye not after their works, for they say, and do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be ye not called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren. And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Christ. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. But whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye devour widows as houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say, Whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whosoever swear by the gold in the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gold, or the temple that sanctifieth the gold? And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing. But whosoever sweareth by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gift, or the altar that sanctifieth the gift? Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar, sweareth by it, and by all things thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple, sweareth by it, and by him that dwelleth therein. And he that shall swear by heaven, sweareth by the throne of God, and by him that sitteth thereon.